Whenever I type up my notes,
I can start sharing it.
sharing the notes.
Yeah, I can start sharing my notes. Like, whenever I study during the week, I can just send it over during the week so y'all can have it to study when we talk about it on Sundays and Mondays.
That'd be so great.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm one of those type of people. In my head.
I got you. So, yeah, when she said this now, I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Make sure I take notes for everybody. All right, so we're going to go to John 4, even though my book ain't closed. Okay. All right, so Romans 8:5 says, "For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh. But those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit." In John 4, verses 32, "But he said to them, I have food to eat that you know nothing about." Then his disciples said to each other, "Could someone have brought him food?" "My food," said Jesus, "is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work." And every time I read that, it just took my spirit back to Jesus' focus. If you pay attention to some of the things that you listen to when you're reading in the Word, when Jesus was on his journey, he always said, "I'm about my Father's business." Like, he would, there was no in between, there was no wavering. He was like, "I'm about his work. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm about his work." Like, that's it. And even though I know the disciples are looking out for him, but his focus was so stern on doing the work of the Father. He like, y'all talking about eating the food I'm talking about, y'all know nothing about. Y'all trying to give me natural food, I'm trying to feed spiritual food. You know what I'm saying? And so his focus was to just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was in a natural body, physical body, he still pushed. Like, his spirit was like, I can't even imagine what his spirit was like in that natural body. You know what I'm saying? Because his push and his drive was real, and it, like, he wouldn't stop, he would just go. Because back then they didn't have the transportation like we had. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have buses and cars and carts and different stuff. No, they walked everywhere. Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it talked about when Jesus went from Samaria to Galilee, and I'm like, I said, I'm gonna go back and look on the map and see what the difference was in between that walk. But he walked, and they would be looking for him sometimes. But every time he would be focused, and he will always come amongst different groups of people, never the same. Even he was a rule breaker. Like, he didn't, like, when he talked to that Samaritan woman, she like, no, you're not supposed to be talking to me, especially in public. And that's one of the things I wanted to do some research on, because I never really thought about, like, when they traveled, they really couldn't talk to him in public. And when I was reading that, and they were like, oh, we like, what? Couldn't talk in public. Because that meant, like, something going on, something going to be watching. Like, I'm just saying now. I'm just saying how you doing. But that's what it was. It was going to and saying, like, you couldn't talk to me, and women couldn't talk to each other in public. And it was like, what? That's crazy. But when I read this, and what made me go back to what made me read Romans 8 as a reference scripture to John 4 was, we get so consumed with what we're dealing with, what we're going through, what we're facing,
course. He stayed the course. Not that I'm comparing us to Jesus, but the way he lived is teaching us how to live. The way he journeyed is teaching us how to journey. The way he did things is teaching us how to do it. He stayed focused. I mean, he stayed focused. Even if somebody was getting fly on the side, he still stayed focused. He would say, we have to say, he picked the movie. He didn't get distracted by when people was being ugly or negative or being foolish. He didn't get distracted by it. He'll say, the one that really tripped me out when the men came, when they was trying to say that the woman, they caught the woman in the bed with the man, in the story, I can't remember if it was in, I have to think about what book it was in, when they caught the woman in the bed with the man and the husband, they was trying to tell Jesus, telling the woman to Jesus, Jesus just started writing in the dirt. Writing in the dirt. And they really just telling him, he just writing in the dirt. Because he was so focused on, like, you bothering me with this foolishness. How often do we get consumed with the littlest things to the biggest things that get us off focus? That's why people be saying life be life and life be life because it's so much coming. You know, it's this little, I don't know if y'all ever seen this little meme where Shaq is hitting all these little negative things out his way. It's different words that are negative words and he just hitting